Feeling isolated. Me too. I spent 7 years in bed and in total more than a decade of my life locked in. Now everyone is locked in. So welcome to my world. But I want to speak to you about how to survive isolation. As an expert of isolation or quarantine, I didn't choose to be isolated. I wasn't instructed to be isolated like we are right now. I was very, very ill and I had to stay home because I couldn't leave my bed most of the time. Isolation is a funny thing because it's not only the physical aspect of isolation, it's also the social part of isolation. And for chronic illness patients like me, that's the hardest part. Yes, not even the physical thing that we cannot leave home, but the fact that we are socially isolated. Social isolation is a really terrible thing to experience. We all try to combat it when we try to protect those kids in school of being isolated by their friends, right? But what about our elderly and what about our chronic illness patients? Do we take care of them well enough during regular days? I'm not sure. Let's talk about real isolation for a second. You know, it's so strange that I have to make a video about it because people kind of texting me for like 3 weeks now. Hey, like, you did it for so many years, why you don't speak about it? And I'm like, you know, I'm kind of reliving it right now. It's not easy. I'm forced to reenact my own illness. It's kind of strange. Like, I'm forced to being home. I'm forced to not leaving bed a lot of time of the day. I'm forced to be isolated physically from my friends and loved ones. But what about the mental isolation? And what about the way we can cope with it? So here's a few tips. It's not a method, it's not scientific, it's just some tips that I made. Tip number 1, keep routine. I know, everybody tells you to do it. The World Health Organization, your government, your health organization, everybody will tell you the same. But I must tell you, I've spent so long locked in that you start to kind of neglect yourself. And the trick is really to get up in the morning, brush your teeth, wash your face, shower if you want, get dressed, not fancy, casual, get dressed, and actually go to work. Even if you have to work from your own home, go to work. Have this mentality. Don't stay in bed and work from bed unless you have to, unless you're sick, unless you're feeling unwell. Get up in the morning, brush your teeth, wash your face, and go to work. If you're not allowed to work right now, you need to develop routines. Now is the best time for self-development, and it will be tip number 2. Self-development is what kept me going. Self-development is actually what healed me, and I'm going to talk about it in later videos. The fact that the mindfulness tools that I used helped me is just a basic fact, but do you do anything about your mindful activities? Do you do yoga? Do you do meditation? I would divide my day into a very simple schedule. I would get up in the morning, do 3 hours of any sorts of working activity or learning activity. Do an online course. There's so many free ones. Even mine are now for free on Udemy and Skillshare. Take a break. Cook something healthy to eat. Don't go to groceries every day. Go to groceries only when you need to, but try to stay healthy. Avoid those junk foods. Cook something healthy. Take an hour break. Eat, watch something, relax. Then, after you rest enough, maintain another hour or 2 of some sort of working activity. And when you're done afternoon, I would really urge you to do indoor training if you cannot go outside. I would really urge you to try and do yoga at home, Pilates at home, something that you feel good with. There's so many YouTube channels out there that teach you how to do it, or online course. Do half an hour of exercise, go to shower, refresh yourself, and take this evening as a leisure time. And this leisure time is a perfect timing to not only connect to yourself, as I mentioned before, but to connect to your loved ones. How many times in a regular week we say we gotta call somebody or we're not having enough time, we're overwhelmed with these notifications and chat. Call your grandmother, call your friend you haven't talked to, just call people. Schedule video dates with people. We're going to talk about dating in Corona in another video, but video dates are a wonderful way to maintain your sanity right now. Do an hour or two of this connection to people, but then you need to start to connect to yourself, and I would really recommend what I did, which is enriching myself, reading, watching documentaries. If you want to do something light like playing video games, it's okay, but don't delve into it. Don't go like 3-4 hours a day doing it. Have an hour a day when you do leisure stuff, but if you can do it mindfully, I think the best way to do is to read. But if it's hard for you right now and you're not concentrated, just watch a documentary. There's so many out there online, and usually they're like around an hour. So just watch a documentary and then prepare yourself for sleep. We are losing a lot of sleep. We have insomnia because we lose track of time. We need to maintain this. Try to maintain your regular schedule because it's going to be over in a few weeks, and we need to maintain our health and our balance and our regular routines. When you go to sleep, I really urge you to try to kind of detox from digital stuff. I know it's hard. It's hard for me to let go of my phone, but I really urge you to maintain this habit of trying to relax, meditate, and read before bed. I usually try to read for like 20 minutes, and then I do kind of a sleep meditation or any sort of meditation that has a purpose, like detachment meditation, reinforcement meditation. There's so many out there online. There's so many apps. So these are my few tips for you. I'm not an expert. I just spent so many years doing this, and that's what kept me sane. And I must tell you, like, I didn't have a job, so I couldn't go to work when I woke up in the morning. But what I did is I learned medicine for my bed. So kind of these studies made me eventually diagnose myself. So I used to spend 3-4 hours a day at least studying from bed, and then eating, and then resting, and then do some sort of exercise. For me, it was kind of a rehabilitation exercise, and then documentary reading, go to bed. I left all this entertainment thing to really minimizing once a day. And for some times when it was stressful like now, I only watch series and movies like twice a week. The rest of the time it was reading, documentaries, and self-development. And the last tip for today: everybody has some sort of artistic creative outlet. I urge you to start something new. Paint, write, journal, connect to your inner child that created something. For me, it's writing. I write poems. I'm working on a book. I have friends who paint. I have friends who draw. I have friends who try to sculpture. I have friends who do crochet, whatever fits you. But try to kind of keep the balance between inserting knowledge and exerting kind of creativity. Thank you so much, and see you next week.